Left of 168. Second paragraph. We speak about reflection, you know, reflecting on certain realities of life. And through the reflection, we come to certain understanding and realization. Harishon mehen mahus habechin v'amitoso. He says, what is the essence and true nature of reflection on creation? You know, it's interesting. You know, a person is amazed. They see an unbelievable sunset, a mountain. You know, and you're awestruck by it. What are you awestruck by? What? The beauty of nature? What do you think about the Creator? Most people, right? They don't even think about God. Have you ever seen anything like it? You know, when people were being pulled out with the tsunami, what did they think about? They think about God, or they said, you know, our lives are coming to an end. They've never seen anything like it before, right? You see the power of God, or you see the power of nature. What do you see? So we're speaking about reflecting on what? On creation. No, lafchin means like an analysis. When you do an analysis, what are you focusing on? You know, it's interesting. I'm not an expert at art. There's no question. Even Rembrandt, the masters, you see the beauty of nature. They cannot in any way match what that is in terms of the essence of its beauty. A Rembrandt, you pay. Did you hear they're doing an exhibition at the museum, Natural Museum of Art? You pay $100 to go there, and you walk out with a little tote bag, which is disposable with whatever it is, and whatever it is, you're all excited about it. And every day that you see the sunset and the sunrise, or whatever it is, or you take a drive into the country, you're not amazed. Oh, it's beautiful. Did you see the genius of Rembrandt? You know, I've been studying this for years to appreciate his genius. You know, under the masses, I spent time in Paris in some basement which had no ventilation. I have a lung problem because of it. But you know, and what about God's creation? Do we reflect on that? Hasheni. Do you have an obligation? Let's say a person believes in God. You believe. And now you have an opportunity to reflect, to somehow to strengthen that belief, or to be inspired. You have an obligation. Shlishi. Now when you look at creation, how do you reflect on it? Ravi, kama mine simone achochma babruim, ashenucha livcho behem. Okay, it's an interesting question. I mean, it seems to be endless. How many kinds of traits of wisdom in creation are we capable of reflecting upon? I mean, you have so many. You have, the human body, everything. I mean, nature, botany. I mean, under the microscope. I mean, anything. I mean, it is endless. What is more accessible to us, and which is less? Which is, first and foremost, we have an obligation to reflect upon. But there's plenty we do see. And there are many things which today are available to us, which were never available. I mean, is a person amazed that goes to sleep and wakes up in the morning? Right? Do you reflect on that? Okay? You say Modani, even though you say Modani Ufonecho, She'achsatu B'nishmosi, God returned your soul. Well, did anybody, when he went to, did he ever believe he wasn't waking up? Right? If you did, you wouldn't fall asleep. Right? It's a fact. You'd worry about it. So the presumption is, we have, person says, I spent 3 years in Yeshiva, we learned the Hilchos Chazaka. Presumed status, I woke up yesterday, I presume I'm going to wake up tomorrow. That's Chazaka. Yeah, but it's not so simple. Nevertheless, every day, you know, it's interesting. A person takes a trip, and he comes back, he says, Birchas HaGomel. Travels the high seas, whatever it is. So the question is, but most people, when they come back from a sea voyage, they come back alive. So why say Birchas HaGomel? Right? The statistic is, most people live. So why Birchas HaGomel? The question is, what is a statistic? In a state of danger, what is a statistic? Does it mean to say you weren't in danger? You were in danger. Every person who returned, it's because God wanted that person to be alive. Naturally, you're in danger. That's the natural state. It happens to be the majority of people, for whatever reason, God wants those people to be alive. So you have to say Birchas HaGomel. You have to acknowledge that you were in a state of danger. Despite that, you're alive. So when a person goes to sleep, doesn't mean to say you have to come back to be alive, to wake up in the morning. Therefore, you acknowledge the kindness of Hashem that He returned your soul, that you're alive. Same idea. A flight. It's only with a flight. On a boat, a sea voyage, everybody agrees. Because firstly, there's a question of the danger aspect. They say the danger of driving a car is more, the statistic of a car is much more accidents than airline crashes. Therefore, well, today boats, being on the sea is dangerous. So you have things to counter the danger. But in the ocean, you are in a state of danger. That's a fact. If they would have said it something else, they never did. No. Everybody agrees when you're in the ocean, for whatever reason, it's again because this is a statistic, the ocean is a location of danger. That's fact. When you're flying, you're not in a state of danger, right? Well, maybe you are. That's the discussion. You are. It happens to be. You have things which counter the state of danger, similar to the boat. Look, David, you're in the Navy, no? Okay. 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 Well, okay. Free flying, whatever. Okay. Gliding. Okay. Yeah, but if there's turbulence on a plane, it's whatever it is. You're not worried. If you're in a plane that's able, it's not danger. No, of course there are crashes. There's no question. And what about a car accident? I mean, okay. Chazal. Okay. Hashishi. Mafsidi abachine v'advorim atluyim bo. What, he says, inhibits reflection. Why don't we notice things? Things which are so obvious, and we should reflect, it inhibits, and what is connected with it. Of course, you see something special every day, it becomes less special. There's a famous Gemara in Brochus that it says there was a custom in Yerushalayim that if a person would marry a special woman, they would say Motza. Why? Because it says in Shlomo says Motza Isha, Motza Tov. When you find that special wife, you found goodness. But if you marry, God forbid, a shrew, then they would say Motza. Because it says, Shlomo says, Motza ni Isha marmi movis. I find the woman more bitter than death. So it depends. So they would say, but what kind of wife did he marry? Did he find a Motza or a Motza? Yeah? This is very important, David.
What's the difference?
Motza or Motza? The pasuk Motza is Motza Isha Motza Tov. You find that special wife, you found goodness.
And the other one?
But no, Motza is past, and Motza is present. One has a vav in it. Motza. He finds. Mem vav tzadi aleph.
And the other one is?
Mem Tzadi Aleph. Motzo.
Well, but you hear it the same way. It's
No.
Motzo.
When you take the Ulpan, they'll explain you the difference. Okay. One's past, one's present. So the Vilna Gaon says the person has something special. Special as the person is, after a while you get used to it. It's something of the past. When a person, God forbid, has a problem, every day you wake up, you're confronted with that same problem. So the special wife, it's something of the past. After a while, you stop appreciating what you have. But God forbid, you wake up every day and you see that same shrew, it's like you're experiencing for the first time. So therefore, it's motza. It's in the present, it's not the past. That's motza ani isha marmi movis. It's the same thing. The world is one of a kind. If you would come into this existence for the first time and you see what it is, you'd be amazed. You'd be overwhelmed. But every day we see it day in and day out. So what do we get? You get used to it. You know? You're not awestruck any longer. And that's it. So what inhibits reflection? It's because we don't focus. You know, it's interesting. We find, David's a student of Rashi. Rashi says in Chumash that Moshe, when he became an adult, he went out to see how his brothers were faring. So Rashi says over there, he stopped to focus on the plight of his brothers. You know, you pass homeless people on the street. You just gloss over it. You don't even pay attention to them. You know they're there. But unless you stop, I'm not saying that will resonate with anybody, because the question is what their situation is. But a person truly should reflect on something or should focus on it. You have to stop and focus on it. If you don't stop and focus on it, you just pass right over it. You gloss over it. It's the same thing with existence. You know, I'm too busy. I always say, could you imagine Kriyas Yamsuf? The Egyptians pursued the Jews straight into the sea. Have you ever heard of the sea splitting? They didn't stop for a moment to be startled by what they saw. They were so bent on getting back their wealth and destroying the Jews, they just glossed over it. And that's how preoccupied a person can be with his own interests. Even to miss that point. How could you miss it? But evidently they weren't. They weren't awestruck by this. This is Kriyas Yamsuf. So something which is of lesser dimension of nature, what you're going to be amazed by it, unless you stop and focus on it.
But what is the difference between 3 and 6? To me, they sound exactly the same.
No, how does one reflect? 6 is what inhibits the reflection. Even when you reflect, what are you reflecting upon? You know, sometimes you sit and you hear people's conversation, what they're amazed at, what they talk about. The level of conversation is so inane, so worthless. Did you hear about that new drink they just came up? You know, the bartender, you have to go to that bar and you have to taste the way he makes a drink. I'm telling you, this is what people invest their intellect into. Or even religious people. Did you hear that new sushi bar? It's amazing. Is that what life's all about? Yeah, this is what people are preoccupied with. There aren't more important things to talk about. Okay, unfortunately, that's the way it is. Okay.
How about sports? You mean by sports or now?
If you woke up tomorrow as the birth of a newborn baby is more startling than the reviving of the dead. In other words,
Doesn't say it's more.
no, it's a
It shows that's a confirmation. That's like a koshkim of Tchias HaMesim. That was the story of the Bas Keser.
So in Bishop Kosai, so just we have the chavos and we have the brachos, but the point of parsha is the chavos. And structurally, we have brachos before and brachos after, and we have the same thing with Kisavo. So it's not. I mean, there's a point to it being the brachos being there besides just
You back to Tanai Kofel.
yeah, I mean,
Yes,
so it's there for a purpose. So you can't just. Well, why are we able to look at it and say, well, the structure is, you know, if then it's either this or it's that. You know, comparing it to
What does the Torah have to say to the negative side? That was the first question. If you hold...
Well, the whole point was to say the negative side.
No, so that's what he says. He says, because maybe if you don't do, maybe you won't be punished. You won't be rewarded, but you're not going to be punished.
Right, the only point they're mentioning the reward is because you have to...
Not the reward. Not the question was the reward. Why mention the punishment? It says, if you follow my statutes, you'll have bounty, you'll have blessing, you'll have everything. So what's the inference? According to Reb Chanina ben Gamliel, if you don't, you're going to have punishments. He says, no, that's not inference. That's not the inference.
Right.
You have neither. You won't have reward, you won't have punishment. So that's what we say, no, that's what the Torah has to actually articulate, be specific exactly what the other side of the coin is. Right, exactly. Reb Chanina is saying if something can be inferred, it's not necessary to say the other side. Right? The Torah does know, because there it's not inferred. The inference is not clear. Okay, we're going to start the Mishnah.